Hello everyone! This morning we will be going over poetry. With this lesson, we're going to be looking at different poems and how to understand them and what to look for. There are 3 essential questions that we have for today. The first one is, where do poets get their ideas and inspirations? The second one is, what is a poem? And the third one is, what are the different types of poems that you guys all know? Can you guys give me some examples? To begin this lesson, let's talk about some previous vocab that we've had and we've talked about before in this classroom. Now, all of these examples are figurative language, as you all know. Just as we talked about before, figurative language is language that's intended to create an image in the mind of the listener or reader that goes beyond the literal meaning or expected use of the words involved. The first word is simile, a figure of speech involving the comparison of one thing with another thing of a different kind. Can you guys give me an example of a simile? Next, we have onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the formation of a word from a sound associated with what is named. Can someone give me an example of an onomatopoeia? The next vocab word is personification. Personification is the attribution of a personal nature or human characteristics to something non-human, or the representation of an abstract quality in human form. Who can give me an example of this one? And for our last vocab word that we'll be reviewing is metaphor. A metaphor is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. Can anyone give me an example of a metaphor? Now for our new vocabulary for this lesson. Our first word is stanza. A stanza is a group of lines forming the basic recurring metrical unit in a poem. It can also be called a verse. Stanzas are typically separated by a space in between. Stanzas are also used by poets to visually group together the ideas within their poem. This image shows an example of 2 stanzas in this poem. You can clearly see the space in between the 2, and you can see that there are 2 stanzas in this poem. The next vocab word that we have is rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme is the ordered pattern of rhymes at the ends of lines of a poem or verse. Remember, rhymes can be used in all types of poetry, but they do not always need to occur in a pattern. Rhyme schemes are only used to describe poems that have rhyming words at the ends of lines. Here is a good example. This is a short paragraph from Dr. Seuss's book, Green Eggs and Ham. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like them in a boat. I do not like them with a goat. I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. Each new rhyme or sound at the end of a line is given a letter to separate and group them together. We do this in alphabetical order. So you start with A, then B, then C, and so on. So for example, in this, ham and am rhyme. So those both get labeled with A because those are the same rhyming pattern. And then you have boat and goat. Those would get labeled with B because that is the next letter in the alphabet. And then you have house and mouse, which you would put a C next to them. Here are some more rhyme scheme examples. My cat is nice. My cat likes to eat mice. My cat is fat. I like my cat. So as you can see here, this is a similar pattern to Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham. Nice and mice rhyme, so they both have the letter A next to them to show that they're a rhyming pattern. Fat and cat both rhyme also, so they would get a B because B is the next letter in the alphabet. My cat is gray. My cat is fat. My cat is friendly. I like my cat. So another thing to keep in mind is that rhyming schemes don't always have to be in the same pattern. So for example, for this one, the first three ending words of the first three sentences are all different, but then the very last one has the same rhyming pattern as the second sentence. So fat and cat rhyme, so those would both get labeled as B. The next vocab word is first-person point of view. First-person point of view is when a storyteller recounts events from his or her own point of view using the first person such as I, us, our, or my. A first-person narrator is a character who tells the story from their own perspective. Then you have third-person point of view. This point of view is a narrative perspective in which the writer doesn't directly refer to themselves as the narrator, nor you as the reader. So a third-person point of view is when the narrator narrates the story about the characters. Alright, now we are going to do a short class activity together. I'm going to read this poem aloud to you, and then we're going to answer a few questions together as a class on the next slide. Polka Dot Witches. Polka dot witches ride WYSIWYG brooms and streak across the moon, trailing candy corn plumes. Their hats glow with stars they plucked from the sky, and their spider web capes gather smiles as they fly. They're the sparkliest, happiest witches in sight, but they only come out when it's Halloween night. Alright, now I would like for all of you guys to get out your whiteboard, marker, and eraser so we can answer these questions together on our whiteboards. The first question is, how many stanzas are in this poem? The next question is, how many rhyme patterns are there in this poem? List them. And the third question, what point of view is this poem in? Alright, to end off this lesson, I will be handing out a worksheet for all of you to do independently. The poem we'll be reading is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Once you're done reading this poem, answer the questions that are with it. If you get done early, I want you to all try and create your own poem that has a rhyming scheme.